members and dear participants. On behalf of Department of Business Administration of Jhulelal Institute of Technology, I, Professor Suzia Khan, welcomes you all for ninth day of pre-PhD coursework on business research. Let me take this opportunity to introduce today's guest speaker, Mr. Milind Herode, sir. Mr. Milind Herode, sir, is working as marketing leader in Indian Oil Corporation, Aurangabad. Sir also worked with IBM India. Sir has completed engineering in computer science from Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Technology, University of Mumbai. Sir has completed PGDM MBA from IIM Indore. Sir has work experience of 15 plus years equally divided into academic and industry. Now I request Mr. Milind Hirode sir to address our participants by sharing his experience and knowledge with us on trends in general management, HR marketing and finance research. Please, sir.
Thank you, Professor Suzia. I would Swati Rahate, madam, and the entire management of Jhulelal Institute of Technology for giving me this wonderful opportunity to interact with the doctoral research candidates, the PhD scholars. So a very warm good morning to one and all my dear friends. So am I audible to everybody? I would like to have this session be conducted in an interactive manner. So I would like to have some responses from the participants. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
At least maybe a few of
Hello. Yes, sir, you are audible.
hello. Am I audible to everyone now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir,
I
you are
think I had
audible.
unfortunately
Yes, sir.
lost the internet signal. So extremely sorry for that.
Yes, sir.
Nevertheless, we would continue our interaction now. So what I was saying was, it's not going to be a regular session in which I would be making a presentation in a slide-based manner. Obviously, there are going to be certain slides which we are going to use, but nevertheless with a twist. I would like this session to be sort of interactive, okay, so that we can set up a background of our discussion. It's going to be kind of a world tour. So my audience need to relax, and I promise it's going to be number one short, and number two, it's going to be a lot of fun to each and everyone. So before I begin my discussion, let me put up a small question. What is the purpose of a business? What is the purpose that a business lives with? Anyone? So anybody can answer. I mean, I would like to have some quick responses. Nobody is going to be wrong. I mean, you can put in your own words. What is the purpose of a business? Why do businesses exist? Anybody?
Fulfilling the need of the society.
That's a good answer. Anyone else? any other response and then I will proceed.
Yeah, for survival of anybody, you can say XYZ.
Okay, fine. That's
Sir,
also a good response.
Innovating and improving upon existing product service, sir.
Okay, nice. Very, very good responses all around. So, but practically, if I have a look at the businesses, a business would have a goal of profitability. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
So, major purpose of a business, any business that exists in this world, is number one, profitability. And profitability is nothing but, you also call it, finance people would perhaps identify it more in a better manner, bottom line. Am I right or wrong? So bottom line becomes the core goal of any, because unless you are profitable, can you exist? Could you provide the products and services? Could you fulfill the society needs? I mean, all the answers which come our way, they are all correct. But nevertheless, for this purpose or all these purposes to be solved, you need to be profitable in the first place. So basic function or a core purpose of any business becomes, number one is your bottom line, but your bottom line cannot survive without what? Quick answers, maybe one or two responses. How would I be profitable? What do I need for remaining profitable in the first place?
Proper management.
That is a good thing. Good answer. Anyone else?
Building long-term relationship with customers, sir.
That's also a good answer. But nevertheless, आप profitable तभी रह सकते हो जब आप आपके products और services को sell करोगे. So essentially, for remaining profitable, you need to have a good top line. For a good bottom line, every business has to have good top line. Top line means nothing but what is your sales, right or wrong? So core function of any business becomes what? I would say people also call it marketing, but I would say sales or marketing becomes core function of a business, but you would not be able to sell unless you are innovative. So what I would like the audience to appreciate is marketing and innovation becomes the core function of a business. Here I am taking nothing away from people who are in operations, people who are in HR, people who are in finance. These are the support functions of any business and they are required to be equally good. As one of my friends has pointed out, good management is required, customer service is required, or relationship management is required. All this is going to fall in line, but at the end of the day, everyone in an organization focuses on कि मेरा product बिकना चाहिए, because जब मेरा product बिकेगा तो मेरे पास रेवेन्यू आएगा, और जब मेरे पास रेवेन्यू आएगा उसी के बाद डिसाइड होगा कि यार मैं प्रॉफिटेबल हूं या नहीं हूं. तो जनरेशन ऑफ रेवेन्यू और सेल्स बिकम्स अ कोर फंक्शन ऑफ अ बिजनेस. एंड ऑब्वियसली आई हैव गॉट टू डू ऑल दिस. मुझे बेचना तो है, लेकिन लॉस पे अगर मैं बेचूंगा तो प्रॉफिटेबल नहीं रहूंगा, तो मैं सर्वाइव नहीं कर पाऊंगा. सो आई हैव गॉट टू मैनेज बोथ थिंग्स. वन, आई हैव गॉट टू बी प्रॉफिटेबल एंड आई हैव गॉट टू सेल इन गुड नंबर्स. सो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि एक बेसिक बैकग्राउंड मैंने अभी सेट कर दिया है. Based on this only, मेरा आगे का discussion, I would be carrying out my further discussion based on the background that we have already laid down. Okay. अभी next question जो हमें समझना होगा कि ठीक है, top line and bottom line is important, but then why do companies fail? There are companies like, for example, Kodak. Kodak सबने नाम सुना होगा. Kodak was a big company, but is it the same company now? Nokia used to be a very big telecommunication giant, but is it the same company now? So can I again have a couple of quick answers? Why do companies fail? Why do companies fail?
Not upgraded up to the. Sir, not upgraded.
They hesitate to change.
Yes.
Okay. Hesitate to change is a good answer. Not upgrading is also a good answer. Anyone else? So it is an amazing audience, I would say. So you were spot on this. See, unless businesses adapt, unless they adapt to changing business environment, they are going to fail.
Yes.
So Nokia was a very, very good hardware company, right? Their phones were of very high quality products, but they eventually failed because they had failed to appreciate something which is called as a mobile ecosystem, or a software that goes into a mobile or your telephone. So the Android ecosystem was something that they had not appreciated, and they were pretty late to come out with Android telephones or Android based mobile phones, and that is why they failed. So again, essentially what I would like you all to focus on is, देखिए, हमको बिजनेस को प्रॉफिटेबल रखना है, हमको सेल्स भी करना है, और अभी हमको बिजनेस एनवायरनमेंट को अडॉप्ट भी करना है. ये तीनों फैक्टर्स मैंने आपको कन्वे कर दिए. तो अभी ये तीनों चीजें करने के लिए ही today's topic becomes very, very critical. कि हम adapt किसे करें? So which are going to be whatever are the current trends, right or wrong? So maybe the trends are in marketing, maybe the trends are in technology, a number of things are there. But unless you adapt to the current business environment or the current market trends or the current business trends, your business may not be able to realize its full potential and may not be able to remain in existence itself. Forget about profitability and forget about sales. A business may not exist if it does not adapt to the changed business environment. यहाँ तक सब ठीक है? मेरा स्पीड काफी फास्ट वगैरह तो नहीं है ना? ठीक है ना सबके लिए?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, fine. So now I will be directly going to कौन सा ट्रेंड्स है. देखिए, आप सब नॉलेजेबल बंदे हो, एक्सट्रीमली लर्नेड लोग हो, आप लोग भी एनवायरनमेंट में जाते हो. मैं कोई चीज नई नहीं बताने वाला हूँ. ये सारी चीजें आपने देखी भली है, लेकिन एक दूसरे पर्सपेक्टिव में इंडस्ट्री में हम लोग इन चीजों को कैसे अप्रिशिएट करते हैं, कैसे यूज करते हैं, इसके ऊपर हम एक फोकस रखेंगे अगले आधे घंटे में. आई विल नॉट बी टेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ योर टाइम बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ यू आर ऑब्वियसली बिजी, यू आर वर्किंग somewhere as maybe in industry or in academia. Okay, so we would keep our discussion very short. So with everyone's permission, now I am going to my presentation. Okay. So the trends that I am going to discuss are: number one, big data and big data analytics. Number two is what is new age marketing, why people call it new age marketing, and digital marketing. Number three is hybrid workplaces, why they are critical, how have they come in force. Number four will be virtual reality and metaverse.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Hello?
Yeah.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
My screen is not visible. Oh, fine. Okay.
Yes,
I will have
sir.
to again. Oh, I think I will have to restart the presentation. Okay, fine. I'm doing that. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible now?
No,
Is
sir.
it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. So as I have already pointed out, the major trends that I'm going to discuss are: number one is big data and big data analytics. Number two is going to be your new age marketing and digital marketing. Number three, hybrid workplaces. Fourth trend, which has emerged and is very, very critical for every business, in my perspective, is virtual reality and metaverse. Then we would have something called as artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. And finally, I would be focusing on blockchain and cryptocurrency. Again, see, every topic that I'm mentioning here requires an in-depth understanding, or a lot of time could be spent on each individual topic. But we would be restricting our discussion so that I highlight you the trends, and then I would leave it to the audience to see how it really fits into their own research work. Okay, or the topic or the criteria or the area that you have selected for doing your doctoral research. So again, let me tell you, see, I will not be taking a lot of your time by speaking myself, but would be sharing experts' perspectives on each of these trends. So first of all, let me go to big data analytics. I would like to hear from the audience what is their own understanding of big data analytics. Anybody, maybe a quick responses in next 30 seconds. Big data analytics. Anyone? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Yeah. Anybody, if somebody likes to respond, anything. I mean, it could be wrong also. We are simply having an interaction here. So nobody needs to worry or get bothered unnecessarily. Anyone? All right, fine. So let me, I would request the audience to kindly have a look at this video. Okay.
If you're in digital marketing, you have a lot of data. But what do you do with your data? What should you do with your big data? Digital marketing has changed from a soft science for salespeople and turned into a hard science that demands the measurement of data to remain viable in your increasingly competitive marketplace. CMOs, CFOs, and CIOs are working hand in hand to find ways to monetize this data. So today, we'll give you a brief but in-depth education on the type of data available, as well as how to analyze that data to turn you into a digital marketing guru so you can impress your friends at the Catalina wine mixer. First party data is your data. You own it. It may be located on your CRM, website analytics, or social listening tools and displays trends or buying behaviors that you own. Second party data is shared data, cooperative data, sharing with non-competitors in a complementary vertical space. For example, Veronica goes and buys a new smartphone. Knowing that she'll break her smartphone, the retail store shares her data with the electronics repair shop. The repair shop uses the shared data to target Veronica with their advertisements. 2 weeks later, Veronica drops her phone in her drink, but remembers the ad she saw and goes to the repair shop. The repair shop then shares this data with the retailer and begins targeting Veronica with new smartphone advertisements. Last but not least of the data trio is third-party data. Third-party data is the refined data. Data management platforms aggregate first-party data from multiple publishers, neatly package this data, and then sell it to media outlets like DSPs and SSPs. So now that you have your data, what exactly do you do with it? Well, you need to be able to analyze it. So let's talk analytics, because you know what they say. If you don't use it, you lose it. Analytics has two sides, and when properly used, resembles the water cycle consisting of precipitation, condensation, and evaporation. The cloud represents the data that you already have. By creating a target, a message, and lead, you have an advertising campaign that reigns its course, nurturing your target market. Now your filtered data is collected into a pool of information where it gets analyzed and then evaporates back into the cloud. Only now, your data is refined, helping you create healthier campaigns, making your target market happier and impacting your bottom line. The world of digital marketing is a complex place, but the educated use of data and analytics allows marketers to use information to understand the world around them. At programmaticadvertising.org, we're here to educate you on better practices for using your big data. So sign up to our newsletter to stay up.
All right. So I suppose I'm still audible to everyone.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was a small video that I had shared so that I can build in an understanding of what is big data. कोई बहुत बड़ा rocket science नहीं है. Big data ये होता है कि देखिए you have got number of customers. Customers are large for corporations. तो हर कस्टमर एक किसी पर्टिकुलर टच पॉइंट पे कोई ना कोई डेटा जनरेट करेगा. जैसे इस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो में उन्होंने दिखाया कि somebody is owning a phone, उनका फोन चाय में गिर जाता है, रिपेयर शॉप जाते हैं तो रिपेयर शॉप को पता चलता है कि फोन खराब हुआ. सेम चीज वो जो ओरिजिनल इक्विपमेंट मैन्युफैक्चरर, फॉर एग्जांपल इट कुड बी योर सैमसंग, इट कुड बी योर एप्पल, उन्हें वो बता देते कि भाई एक कस्टमर आया था जिनका टेलीफोन खराब हुआ है. तो यूजिंग दिस पर्टिकुलर डेटा, सैमसंग है या एप्पल है, इमीडिएटली आपको टेलीमार्केटिंग मोबाइल पे या जहां आप अगर यूट्यूब वीडियो देख रहे हो तो आपको इमीडिएटली नए फोन्स के एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स दिखेंगे. So essentially companies कर क्या रहे हैं कि उनके टॉप लाइन के लिए, that is for sales purpose, they are using the data that is getting generated by customers actions. मुझे लगता है मैं सिंपल लैंग्वेज में समझा पा रहा हूँ. Am I right? I would like to have, yeah, good.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Yeah, thank you for responding. तो इतनी सिंपल सी चीज है, लेकिन इसे बिग डेटा हम इसके लिए कहते हैं बिकॉज ये ढेर सारा डेटा है. डेटा इज इन टेराबाइट्स. It's in huge capacity, and that is why there is something which is also called as data centers which are coming up across the world. If you remember our honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, he has also emphasized on India becoming a hub for data centers. ये प्रैक्टिकल है. इंडिया एक ऑलरेडी इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी सर्विसेज में वी आर वन ऑफ द लीडर्स इन द वर्ल्ड. आई थिंक यूएस एंड इंडिया, these two countries are leading in IT, information technology. And even in now data center management, I think India has a huge potential to take a lead. So this also becomes a very, very critical area of research for all my doctoral research candidates. So भले आप फाइनेंस में रिसर्च कर रहे हो, एचआर में कर रहे हो, ऑपरेशंस में कर रहे हो, कहीं देखिए कि ये जो बिग डेटा है या बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स है, उस पे आप अगर कोई रिसर्च पेपर ला पाओ या किसी तरह बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स को आपके रिसर्च में आप इंटीग्रेट कर पाओ, दैट कुड हेल्प यू टू बी मोर अपीलिंग टू पीपल इन इंडस्ट्री और इन जनरल. ठीक है, तो आगे जाके भी बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स के 2-3 एग्जांपल्स है. मतलब मैं क्विक रिस्पॉन्सेस चाहूंगा. ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग तो हम लोग सभी करते ही है. एम आई राइट? थोड़ा सा इंटरेक्ट करिए प्लीज. ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग अमेजॉन, फ्लिपकार्ट, राइट? तो ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग में अगर समझ लीजिए, इट इज जस्ट एन एग्जांपल, अगर मैं किसी पर्टिकुलर बुक पे अमेजॉन पे क्लिक करता हूँ तो immediately Amazon comes up with its own recommendation of books, right or wrong? अगर मैं मार्केटिंग की फिलिप कॉटलर की बुक पे अगर क्लिक करता हूं तो मार्केटिंग पे बाकी ऑथर्स के बुक्स मुझे वो रेकमेंड करता है या नहीं? यस और नो प्लीज?
Yes.
हाँ, ठीक है। तो ये किस तरीके से ये लोग प्रोडक्ट रेकमेंड करते हैं? जाहिर सी बात है, इसके पीछे कोई ना कोई वो डाटा कस्टमर का एनालाइज कर रहे हैं। एक सिंपल डेटा तो ये है कि कस्टमर इज इंटरेस्टेड इन मार्केटिंग, मार्केटिंग बुक पे क्लिक किया है तो उसको मार्केटिंग की किताबें दिखाओ। तो अभी मैं वही एक आपको शॉर्ट वीडियो दिखाऊंगा कि हाउ Amazon इज यूजिंग बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स। हाँ, ठीक है। सो आई विल बी स्किपिंग वन फनी वीडियो, बट वी वुड डायरेक्टली गो टू Amazon's केस। ओके, माय रिक्वेस्ट टू ऑडियंस इज इसे आप थोड़ा देखिए। All right. So एक overall आपको understanding आई होगी the way Amazon is using big data. Obviously, Amazon is having not just lakhs but crores of customers. I would say millions and millions of customers are there for Amazon across its markets like USA, China, India, so on and so forth. तो Amazon basically करता क्या है कि जब मैं किसी प्रोडक्ट पे क्लिक करता हूँ, जब मैं Amazon की वेबसाइट है उसका एप्लीकेशन ब्राउज करता हूँ, जब मैं वहां किसी प्रोडक्ट को रेट करता हूँ, जब मैं वहां कोई प्रोडक्ट खरीदता हूँ, ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन वो स्टोर करता है। देन कस्टमर टू कस्टमर भी ही विल गो ऑन कंपेयरिंग दिस इंफॉर्मेशन। अगर किसी कस्टमर ने प्रोडक्ट 1 2 3 4 खरीदा, दूसरे कस्टमर ने भी प्रोडक्ट 1 2 3 4 और 5 खरीदा, तो देन दैट फिफ्थ प्रोडक्ट कुड बी रिकमेंडेड टू द फर्स्ट कस्टमर जिसने पहले 4 प्रोडक्ट खरीदे थे। सो मैं इसमें बहुत ज्यादा नहीं जाऊंगा, आप सब लोग एक मैच्योर्ड ऑडियंस हो, you understand all these things, but this is how in general big data analytics plays a role in business. It's very very critical, let me tell you, for any business, for any customer facing business, and even for businesses which are marketing to other businesses, that is B2B businesses. Data analytics becomes a very very critical tool for targeting the customers, for acquiring new business, for increasing the profitability of the business. With this I will be moving on to our next thing. I would be skipping certain things for paucity of time, okay, but would be sharing the presentation so audience can have a look at it at a later point. Okay, so now I am directly going to new age marketing. Okay, so before I move on, I would like from the audience a little understanding of if marketing has undergone a change. How has it changed, let us say in last 10-20 years? What has changed in marketing? Anybody? Quick responses, maybe for 30 seconds, then I will move on. Anyone? You can express your views. There is no harm.
Maybe the promotional techniques, sir.
Okay, good answer. Anyone else? See, what is happening is this, marketing was essentially product based. What companies used to do, they had resources and whatever they can produce the best, they used to produce it and then mass market it. Now, marketing's focus has shifted from being product-oriented marketing to customer-centric marketing. So essentially, customer has come at the core of all activities that corporations or the companies are undertaking. This has changed. But again, if I bring in the customer at the core, obviously, I would like to understand the customer's expectations in detail. Sometimes customers' expectations are going beyond the product requirements or a product experience. मैं जो कह रहा हूं आप उस चीज को अप्रिशिएट कर पा रहे हैं या नहीं मुझे नहीं पता, बट मुझे और कुछ सिंपलिस्टिक शब्दों में इसे कहने दीजिए. देखिए, बिस्लरी की बोतल आती है, वो प्लास्टिक पेट में आती है, बिस्लरी और एनी पैकेज वाटर. तो नाउ आई वुड लाइक टू हैव सर्टेन रिस्पॉन्सेस फ्रॉम ऑडियंसेस. इतना हेवी प्लास्टिक यूज के साथ आप में से कितने लोग कंफर्टेबल हो? अगर अनकंफर्टेबल हो तो भी आप मुझे रिस्पॉन्ड करिए कि नहीं, ये प्लास्टिक यूज थोड़ा कम होना चाहिए. एनीवन? Well, maybe for
Yes,
30.
sir.
Right. So just like you, there are a number of people who have suddenly become environmentally cautious, right or wrong? तो ये जो न्यू एज मार्केटिंग का फंडामेंटल है, इसमें दो नई चीजें ऐड हुई. एक ये टेक्नोलॉजिकली आई वुड से नॉट एडवांस्ड, बट एक टेक्नोलॉजी का हेल्प लेके करी गई मार्केटिंग बन गई है आज की जो मार्केटिंग है. दूसरा एक रिस्पॉन्सिबल मार्केटिंग बन गई है. So companies have got to show that they are ethical in behavior, they are more environment friendly. Essentially, the concept that I am coming to is a concept which is also called as triple bottom line marketing. Triple bottom line marketing. That is, core bottom line of a business remains what? Profitability. But the corporations who also add people to it and then planet to it, that is, they are good to their surrounding, the environment, and they are also helpful to the societies, to their direct stakeholders also, who are working with them or maybe who are funding them. ये एक बिजनेस मॉडल आया है, ट्रिपल बॉटम लाइन मार्केटिंग. आईटीसी जैसे कंपनियों में इंडिया में इसे बहुत अच्छी तरह यूज किया है. ऑब्वियसली आईटीसी का जो कोर प्रोडक्ट है वो सिगारेट्स है. सो ऑब्वियसली लॉट ऑफ पीपल फ्लिम एट देम कि ये एक ऐसा प्रोडक्ट मार्केट कर रहे हैं जो एक हेल्थ हजार्ड पैदा करता है. ठीक है, but again they have done a lot of good work in some of the other industries. Now ITC is not only in cigarettes, but they are into paper processing, they are into agricultural produce marketing, so on and so forth. ठीक है. So essentially मैं दो चीजें यहाँ कहना चाहूंगा मेरी ऑडियंस को कि आने वाले दिनों में जो भी लोग मार्केटिंग में अपना रिसर्च रख रहे हैं, उन्हें रिस्पॉन्सिबल मार्केटिंग, ट्रिपल बॉटम लाइन मार्केटिंग प्लस डिजिटल मार्केटिंग, इन तीन पैरामीटर्स को ध्यान में रख के अगर आप अपना रिसर्च करते हो तो आई थिंक इट विल बी मोर अपीलिंग. प्लस जो समय चल रहा है, करंट ट्रेंड्स इन मार्केटिंग है, उसके साथ इट विल हैव अ गुड मैच. I think I am making some sense to you. Now I would like to take you to Nestle, okay, and their take at marketing. It will be a short video only, won't take a lot of time of my audience, but it's a good video to have a look at.
Focus. Okay, today we will meet a very interesting person, especially for you working with the digital marketing. He's working in Copenhagen, so we will leave this icy cold Stockholm and fly to hopefully a warm Copenhagen. We will meet Ludvig Sten, working as Nordic e-business manager at Nestlé Purina. Let's go.
So for me, smart marketing is more or less the same as when I started out 10, 12 years ago in marketing. Smart marketing is marketing that makes sense for your brand. And where you run campaigns or similar where you can have a positive outcome. So KPIs that deliver a return on investments, that is still the same. What's changed these days is very much that we have new marketing technologies coming into the market. Of course, we're talking artificial intelligence, etc., and personalization of messages. But that to me is not the marketing part. That's tools that enable you to do marketing. So for me, smart marketing is still marketing that delivers a positive result for you. And that is very much something that each brand owner needs to identify for themselves on their brands, because I think there are the answer to smart marketing and what it is. I think there are as many answers to that question as there are brands, actually, to be honest. So we measure campaigns here at Nestle and at Nestle Purina on various parameters, basically. And it all has to do, again, with the objective. What is my objective with this campaign? Is it to drive brand awareness? Then you have one set of KPIs for that. Is it to drive sales? Then you have one set of metrics to measure success on that. If I'm tracking for a brand which is new in the marketplace, which is establishing itself, I would most likely look at KPIs that are related to brand equity, etc. That can be success. But then if I am to do some sort of commercial campaign where I want to drive e-commerce, close sales, etc., then I would more likely be looking at conversions. So again, it comes down to knowing the objectives. If you know your objectives, then it's easier to understand what your KPIs are. If you know your KPIs and your objectives, then you can sort of sow the creativity around that. The first part is to really to identify how your audience wants to be spoken to on that particular platform. We try to, also from a central point of view these days, to really steer the message according to which platform we will end up on with this particular piece of content. Because obviously you cannot run a TVC directly on Facebook, because you need to communicate to the people on Facebook in a certain matter, and then the people watching TV in a completely different matter. We tend to get very much tied up in discussing the technologies that we want to implement in order to make our marketing more efficient. But in the end, we are still humans. We're still peer-to-peer. And I still would like to hear from you what you think of a certain product, for example, before I make my choice on whether I would buy it or not. You can just turn to yourself and think, would you book a hotel without going to any sort of hotel recommendation site or similar on the internet? Probably you wouldn't. So that is something I really think companies need to take into consideration, that if viewing is shifting from the traditional outlets, where does it shift? And I would say YouTube and user-generated content is a massive trend that we need to take into consideration.
All right, I hope I'm still audible to everyone. Now, again, I would refocus on the 3 marketing trends that I had identified for the audience. There is a lot which is happening in digital medium or digital methodologies of communicating with the customers. People also say it's social media marketing, but I would like to tell everyone who is an audience here that perhaps this social media marketing is becoming so very mainstream that in coming days, this social word is going to get dropped. And in fact, the mainstream marketing would continue to use all these social media tools which are available to the audience. So anybody who is doing the research in the marketing area, I would say focus on digital marketing trends, focus on responsible marketing, and focus on triple bottom line best marketing. So I am now moving on. There is another video on digital marketing, but for the paucity of the time, I would like to skip this video Classic in marketing strategy is something that I would be visiting at the end of my discussion if time permits. Otherwise, I will be sharing this PPT with everybody. Okay, now I am moving on and would be discussing certain trends in HR. Okay, so one very quick trend that comes to our observation is hybrid workplace. It was more predominantly visible when people had started working from home, or work from home was more commonly adopted by companies during COVID. But I think this trend is going to remain here, and many companies are exploring the benefits. So I would like the audience to take a look at one of the case studies of LinkedIn, how LinkedIn is using hybrid workplace. Okay, so I am again going to play this video because I want this presentation to be very simple and to be enjoyable for everyone. So rather than me speaking, let me demonstrate how corporate entity like LinkedIn is utilizing hybrid workplace.
At LinkedIn's flagship office space, there are more than 75 different types of seating.
This feels like a spot for maybe a really quick call or just answering a couple of emails. Work or NBA Jam. Yeah, this is your space.
Yeah, this is my space and that's your space.
Many of these seats were actually meant to be desks.
So I think during our initial plans, we had just standard desks in this space with traditional conference rooms and huddle rooms.
But the pandemic changed that.
How much of what we're seeing in this space is new as a result of the pandemic?
100% of it.
This recently opened space is designed for hybrid work, a model that has emerged as the leading choice for LinkedIn and others, with 42% of people with remote-capable jobs working partly at home, according to a February Gallup poll. So what does a hybrid office look like? I toured Building 1 with the project's leaders to find out, and to get a glimpse into what could be the future of workplace design. Building 1 is the new hub of LinkedIn's campus in Silicon Valley. It has 6 floors, roughly 239,000 square feet, and room for about 1,500 employees.
Prior to the pandemic, when we looked at this building, really at that point, the main goal was fitting as many people as we could in this space.
The original floor plans called for 1,080 individual workstations. The thinking was one employee, one desk.
Once we were sent home during the pandemic, a lot of that changed. And much of what we were trying to solve for before the pandemic was not the same thing that we were looking at that moment.
So with the help of its design partners at NBBJ, LinkedIn retooled the space, cutting the number of desks in half to 569 workstations and adding dozens of new, non-traditional seating setups.
What did you and LinkedIn learn from the pandemic that would result in the space that we're in right now?
I think we really wanted to do a lot of experimentation because we just didn't know. No one had a crystal ball about what the future would actually be, so we wanted to provide as many variety of spaces as possible.
The variety starts right when employees walk in. The design does away with a large lobby in favor of a cafe.
Daniel and Adam.
This is one of my favorite spaces of the buildings. The idea of this space is that the minute you walk in, you feel the buzz, there's people getting coffee, there's people moving throughout the space.
The cafe spills into the first of 2 areas LinkedIn calls its co-working spaces. Think open, non-reserved seating. The co-working area on the second floor was added in the redesign.
So we've got primary work points here.
Desks with monitors and tall-backed booths with ottomans dot the space that, looking back at the original design, was once full of assigned workstations.
So a space like this is great for those smaller time periods where you might come in and work with your team and then go home and do some focus time, or vice versa. Yeah.
And that's okay with LinkedIn to come in for half the day and work at home for half the day.
Yeah, LinkedIn's approach is that we are leading with trust. The idea is that we trust our employees to make the decision that's going to be best for them and their teams.
Co-working is open to anyone in the company for any amount of time. Employees assigned to the building who plan to work there all day will likely move upstairs.
The concept behind how the floors are planned is the entry to the building is the most social, and the farther that you get into the space, it becomes more focused.
Workers sit in so-called neighborhoods, or areas assigned to their teams.
We call this the living room.
Neighborhoods are split, about half alternative workspaces and half traditional desks. Those desks are mostly here, in the back.
Was this sort of what the whole floor was meant to look like before the pandemic?
It is what the whole floor looked like before the pandemic.
What led the decision to get rid of desk space?
Because we imagined that not everyone is going to come to work 8 hours a day.
So rather than fill the space with potentially empty desks, of which I still saw plenty, new furniture was added based on something called the postures matrix.
The postures matrix is about the amount of time that we imagine a person would be working doing a certain activity combined with the amount of ergonomics to support that.
So how long am I meant to spend at this chair here?
So as a high table, we imagine that you spend less time compared to like a low.
All right. So I just hope that everyone is still focused. Essentially, I had showcased this particular video for you to understand that workplaces are changing. Now, why this change in a workplace has been brought in a pre-PhD coursework by me, उसकी एक काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग रीजन है उसके पीछे कि जैसे देखिए बदलते वर्क स्पेस के साथ एम्प्लॉय प्रोडक्टिविटी में एक नई रिसर्च हो सकती है बिकॉज फॉर एनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए आपके एम्प्लॉयज एक्सपेक्टेड प्रोडक्टिविटी दे ये जरूरी होता है अभी उन्होंने काफी सारे बदलाव किए बिकॉज ऑफ द पेंडेमिक और बिकॉज ऑफ न्यू एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन ऑल्सो काफी जगहों में उनके एम्प्लॉयज को फ्रीडम दिया जाता है कि आप रिस्पॉन्सिबली घर से काम करिए वी ट्रस्ट यू कि आप अच्छे डिसीजंस ले पाओगे लेकिन देयर इज अ रिसर्च गैप दिस इज हैपनिंग इन लॉट ऑफ एडवांस्ड इकोनॉमीज लाइक यूएसए यूरोप some of the Indian companies like RP Goenka Group has adapted it. Mahindra & Mahindra has adapted it to a good extent. So it's not that Indian companies are not adapting this particular revolution, I would say, in the kind of designing new workspaces and again, new hybrid work culture that is catching up with the companies. But there is a good research gap. So a lot of people who are doing their research work in organization behavior and human resource management have an opportunity. आप लोगों के पास एक बहुत अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि आप इंडियन कंपनीज के साथ रिसर्च करिए कि ये चीजें इंडियन कल्चर में इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में कहाँ बैठती है और जो हमारे भारतीय एम्प्लॉयज है इंडियन एम्प्लॉयज है वो इस पर्टिकुलर वर्क सेटिंग में सच में कितने प्रोडक्टिव है सभी इंडस्ट्रीज के लिए दिस मे नॉट बी अ रिकमेंडेबल मॉडल बट दिस कैन बी यूजफुल इवन इन द इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट इन सर्टेन इंडस्ट्रीज तो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट रहेगी जो भी हमारे यहाँ पे यंग रिसर्चर्स है या जो आने वाले रिसर्चर्स है आगे आने वाले सालों में बिकॉज यहाँ जो लोग बैठे हैं कल को अगले 8-10 सालों बाद ये भी गाइड्स बनेंगे पीएचडी गाइड्स सो आई थिंक दीज आर द ट्रेंड्स दैट यू शुड कैच अप और इसमें एक अच्छी रिसर्च अगर आप करते हो तो देन अगेन यू वुड बी अलाइंड विद इंडस्ट्री जो इंडस्ट्री में आज एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन चल रहा है उस ट्रेंड के साथ आप आपकी रिसर्च को अच्छी तरीके से जोड़ सकते हो ठीक है तो मुझे लगता है अभी भी मेरी ऑडियंस फोकस्ड है हाइब्रिड वर्क प्लेसेस में एक और केस स्टडी है माइक्रोसॉफ्ट की बट फॉर पॉसिटी ऑफ द टाइम वी वोंट बी फोकसिंग ऑन दैट आई वुड लीव इट टू यू एंड नाउ आई एम गोइंग इनटू अनदर वेरी वेरी क्रिटिकल ट्रेंड दैट इज मेटावर्स or virtual reality. But before I go in that trend, I would like to know from my audience, is there anyone who is aware or have done some study in metaverse? Anybody? I would like to have quick responses. Yes or no could also do. Yeah? So that I just understand that everyone is focused. Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. So anyone who has done some study, some sort of study in metaverse or virtual reality in business? All right, no issue. So let's have a look at this small video which can help us to improve our understanding of what metaverse is.
What actually is the metaverse? Well, if we think of the internet as something that we look at, the metaverse is a version of the internet that we're inside. The idea is that we will experience the metaverse as an avatar, a virtual version of ourselves that we control as we explore this new online frontier. But what will we actually do?
Okay, so, Bolt, here we are in what might be considered a representation of what the metaverse could be.
Yeah, for us, the metaverse is a spatial construct as opposed to the previous web, which was really a very linear kind of 2D flat thing. We want this one to be immersive. Now, of course, it doesn't mean it has to be virtual reality. It could also just be on a phone or on a desktop computer.
You might have noticed that we're using the tools of the metaverse to create a good portion of this item. My avatar has been created by a couple of companies, Ready Player Me and Oz. They already create tools for people to make avatars from a photo. It's this virtual version of us which will travel between online experiences in any metaverse.
And then over time, what I'm most excited about is an economy there. And I mean, economy not just of digital goods, sure, and entertainment, that's great, but also services. In an immersive environment, I'm going to have an avatar. I'm going to need a stylist. I'm going to have a home space.
Microsoft has adapted its workplace meeting software Teams for the metaverse by creating a system called Mesh. It's designed to work with a variety of different devices, including virtual and augmented reality. AR, as it's known, projects graphics on top of the real world using headsets like Microsoft's HoloLens or mobile phones. There's quite a few people that have got fatigued by having to have video chat meetings and things of that nature, and that they realize they now crave human contact.
Human communication is about 5%, speech is about 95% everything else. I've been in my living room with the entire team around the table, right? Making eye contact, where all the gestures are coming into the right place. So it changes completely the call it the screen fatigue we're feeling today.
The next piece of the metaverse puzzle isn't just about seeing these virtual worlds, but feeling them as well. Meta has revealed that it's been working on a glove that will let the user feel sensations, like holding an object. The glove has a number of sensors that measure the wearer's movements, and air pockets across the glove surface inflate to create sensation. These gloves aren't quite ready for prime time yet, but they're an indicator of the kind of research that's going on behind the scenes.
All right. So if my audience is still in sync with me, metaverse is kind of a virtual reality. एक virtual world होगा जिसमें कंपनीज अपने प्रोडक्ट्स, अपने सर्विसेज को कस्टमर तक पहुंचाने की कोशिश करेगी, कस्टमर को एक एक्सपीरियंस देगी जो फिजिकल वर्ल्ड में पॉसिबल है, इक्वली गुड एक्सपीरियंस इन अ वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड. Lot of companies are already experimenting with it, but a couple of Korean companies which come to my mind who are sort of a leaders in promoting their products in metaverse or the virtual world are Samsung and Hyundai. So recently Hyundai had launched its car in a metaverse. तो वो उन्होंने किस तरीके से मार्केटिंग कैंपेन करी, एक छोटा शॉर्ट वीडियो है. मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप सब उसे इंटरेस्ट से देखें. तो एक जो नया रियल में नई रियलिटी है in the business world, you would be sort of able to connect with it. So this is Hyundai in metaverse for you all. All right, so this is how Hyundai had put up a marketing campaign, entire marketing campaign in the metaverse. Similarly, Samsung has opened up an entire store similar to their flagship store in New York in USA on metaverse. So for paucity of time, वो store वगैरह का जो वीडियो है या उसका जो भी marketing campaign है उसे मैं नहीं बताऊंगा. But देखिए एक एडवांस्ड ऑडियंस यहाँ बैठी है जिन्हें इन सारी चीजों के बारे में पता भी होगा पहले ही. बट ये एक ट्रेंड उभरी है. मेटावर्स इज अ वेरी वेरी क्रिटिकल थिंग. वर्चुअल रियलिटी इज अ वेरी वेरी क्रिटिकल थिंग इन बिजनेस व्हिच हैज इमर्ज्ड अप, and it's equally important for any branch of management. I would say it could be marketing, it could be operations. मेटावर्स आप पढ़िए, मेटावर्स को आप समझने की कोशिश करिए और मेटावर्स में थोड़ी रिसर्च करने की आप कोशिश करिए. तो अगेन दिस विल इनेबल यू टू बी फ्यूचर प्रूफ. बिकॉज देखिए जब इंटरनेट आया था तो काफी लोगों ने उसे राइट ऑफ कर दिया था कि यार ये तो सिर्फ वर्चुअल चीजें हैं, ये कहाँ चलेगी. बट टुडे एंटायर वर्ल्ड, एंटायर बिजनेस सेटअप इज डोमिनेटेड बाय internet and technologies which are associated with internet. So I think a lot of people are now predicting that metaverse is something which is similar to that. It's next level of internet. So आज अगर हम इसे समझने की कोशिश करते हैं तो I think कल के आने वाले दिनों के लिए we would be preparing ourselves to be better aligned with what industry is doing. Okay. So मैं आगे बढ़ सकता हूँ, right? Everyone? Hello?
Yes,
sir.
Yeah, thank you. So Samsung I'm skipping, okay, for my audience to have a look at a later time. There are a couple of things: artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. Plus, blockchain is something that is to be covered by us. But before I move on, मैं ऑडियंस से थोड़ा जानना चाहूंगा कि चैट जीपीटी के बारे में कितने लोगों ने सुना है? चैट जीपीटी. There was a lot of buzz and news about it in last 1 week or so. Chat GPT.
No, sir, I don't have any idea.
किसी ने अगर सुना होगा तो ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं भी सुना होगा आपने तो कोई इशू नहीं है. बट मेरा रिक्वेस्ट रहेगा कि आप गूगल में चैट जीपीटी ये जो कीवर्ड है डाल के देखिएगा. Lot of people have predicted कि chat GPT has a potential. It's basically an artificial intelligence enabled chatbot. Chatbot तो आप सबको पता ही है क्या होता है, बराबर है? हम कोई चीज खरीदने जाते हैं, जैसे सैमसंग की वेबसाइट पे जाऊंगा तो वो पूछेगा हाय सर व्हाट्स योर नेम, मैं नाम डालूंगा, मोबाइल डालूंगा, देन इट विल स्टार्ट मार्केटिंग मी इट्स प्रोडक्ट. बट चैट जीपीटी एक स्टेप बियॉन्ड जाता है. ये एक आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इनेबल्ड चैटबॉट है जिसमें अगर मुझे चाहिए कि महात्मा गांधी पे ऐसे लिख के दीजिए, प्लीज गिव मी एन ऐसे और राइट एन ऐसे ऑन महात्मा गांधी, वो एंटायर ऐसे महात्मा गांधी पे लिख के मुझे दे सकता है. गूगल ये नहीं कर सकता. गूगल सर्च इंजन में अगर मैं डालता हूं कि ऐसे ऑन महात्मा गांधी तो वो मुझे लिंक प्रोवाइड करेगा जहां महात्मा गांधी के एसेस है. सो चैट जीपीटी एक ऐसा आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस टूल आया है. लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर प्रेडिक्टिंग दैट इट हैज अ पोटेंशियल टू रिप्लेस गूगल as a search engine, as a search tool. It is a big happening in the technology world. Microsoft has already partnered with it. जैसा हम सब जानते हैं कि मेजर जो ब्राउजर है 90% ऑफ द मार्केट शेयर इज विद गूगल. मेजरली हम लोग गूगल ही यूज करते हैं, क्रोम जो है. बट माइक्रोसॉफ्ट is now predicting that with integration of chat GPT as an application in its web browser, काफी सारा मार्केट शेयर उनके पास फिर से वापस आ सकता है. एंड आई थिंक दे आर ऑन अ राइट ट्रैक. नाउ गूगल इज आल्सो रिस्पॉन्डिंग. गूगल इज कमिंग आउट विथ इट्स ओन काइंड ऑफ एन आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस बेस्ड चैटबॉट. मैं ये सारी चीजें आप लोगों को क्यों कह रहा हूँ? बिकॉज आज का टॉपिक ही यही है कि इंडस्ट्री के अंदर क्या चल रहा है और इंडस्ट्री में कौन सी रिसर्च ट्रेंड्स है जिसे जो हमारे मैनेजमेंट के रिसर्चर्स है उन्हें अडॉप्ट करना चाहिए. तो जो अगली ट्रेंड मैं आप लोगों के सामने रखने जा रहा हूँ वो है आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, इंटरनेट ऑफ द थिंग्स. ये दो चीजों पे आप आपका फोकस कर सकते हैं. बिकॉज विदाउट आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एंड विदाउट इंटरनेट ऑफ द थिंग्स, लॉट ऑफ कंपनीज आर नॉट गोइंग टू बी इन अ पोजिशन टू सॉर्ट ऑफ मेंटेन देयर लीडरशिप पोजिशन. तो किस तरीके से अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं बहुत लंबा टॉपिक है. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस पे अगर मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले तो मैं पूरा दिन आपके साथ डिस्कशन कर सकता हूँ, या इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स पर भी. बट इन शॉर्ट मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि मैं इन दोनों चीजों को आपके सामने पुटअप करूं ताकि एक आइडिया आपको दे सकूं कि किस तरीके से आप आपकी रिसर्च को आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस या इंटरनेट ऑफ द थिंग्स, इन चीजों को लेके आपकी रिसर्च को आप आगे बढ़ा सकते हो या इनको इंटीग्रेट कर सकते हो. ठीक है. सो एआई पे एक छोटा सा वीडियो मैं आप लोगों को दिखाऊंगा, एआई का एक बिजनेस पर्सपेक्टिव.
If you know about artificial intelligence mostly from movies and books, AI probably seems like this vague in books. AI probably seems like this vague label for any machine that could think like a human. Fiction writers like to imagine a more generalized AI, one that answers any question we might have and do anything a human can do. However, that's not the most realistic way to think about it. By definition, artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think and act like humans. By using vast amounts of data and algorithms, AI technology is able to achieve two important techniques: machine learning and deep learning. Both terms fall under the broad category of AI. However, machine learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence that uses algorithms to parse data, learn from that data, and make informed decisions based on what it has learned. On the other hand, deep learning is a subfield of machine learning that structures algorithms in layers to create an artificial neural network that can learn and make intelligent decisions on its own, with even greater accuracy. The easiest example to differentiate both techniques is to think about Amazon Alexa, which recognize your voice commands without training, and the voice-to-type applications of a decade ago, which required users to train the program by speaking scores of words to the system before use. Besides these simple examples, AI has been used more than ever across different jobs and industries. In fact, we are in touch with it every day, even if we don't notice it. Whether we are watching our Netflix movie suggestions or unlocking our phone with Face ID, AI is present, and it has been allowing businesses to become more flexible and adaptive than ever. But how can it be applied in marketing? Starting with social media. Social media advertising is one of the marketing areas where artificial intelligence was effectively implemented. By utilizing AI and machine learning, platforms such as Facebook or Instagram can examine their users' information and interests, which allow them to personalize the content and ads that show on users' feeds. This technique is also being used by streaming platforms such as Netflix and YouTube, and retailer websites such as Amazon, which use past purchases or viewing history to improve their recommendation engines. Then comes chatbots. Chatbots are assisting online stores by providing 24/7 customer service. They've been improved over the years, and by using machine learning and AI, chatbots are now able to give human-like replies to basic questions in real time. Lastly, comes predictive analytics. One of the main advantages of AI in marketing is its ability to predict sales and foresee customer behaviors. With big data, companies can now foresee future results and adjust their marketing strategies and tactics based on those, which can lead them to better outcomes.
All right. I hope it had made some sense to my audience. Now, another critical thing is Internet of Things. Anyone in the audience who would like to sort of share one's understanding on Internet of Things? IoT? Anybody? What is Internet of Things? Anybody who has heard of something called as home automation? Home automation तो सबने सुना होगा. Home automation? Anybody? जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मैं घर में अपना एसी शुरू रख के ऑफिस चला जाता हूँ, तो देन फ्रॉम माय मोबाइल आई कैन स्विच ऑफ दैट एयर कंडीशनर, राइट? Simple examples of home automation. So Internet of Things is something very very similar, but it is in the industrial context. आप पूरा फैक्ट्री जो है आपका या जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्लेस है, आप इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स को यूज करके ऑटोमेट कर सकते हैं. एसेंशियली IoT is nothing but automating the things using communication technologies, internet enabled communication technologies. इतना सिंपल है. तो बिकॉज ऑफ लैक ऑफ टाइम मैं मेरे पास वीडियो तो है, बट उसमें हम क्या करेंगे, केवल 1-2 मिनट का उसका देखेंगे. फुल वीडियो वी वोंट हैव अ लुक एट द फुल वीडियो, बट अ स्मॉल बिट ऑफ इट.
Hello viewers. In this video, we are going to take you through the applications of IoT in the manufacturing industry. The world is evolving to be a better place with technology. With its evolution, people are also changing their perspectives. As more disruptive trends get implied in our daily lives, stronger demand for customization, increasing customer expectation, and the complexity of the supply chain are taking center stage. All these changes have a direct influence on the manufacturing industry, with people expecting more products of their choice. Manufacturing industry is also enjoying the flavor of disruption through connected devices. IoT is powering factory shops in many ways. Some of them are listed as follows. Enhances shop floor visibility. By powering manufacturing bases with IoT facilities, it offers a revolutionary level of visibility into the shop floor and field operations. Industries leverage the application to update data in real time, which eventually leads to a considerable increase in manufacturing processes. Predicts the malfunctions. Machinery damage and downtimes are very crucial at manufacturing houses. Besides damaging the revenue, they might also endanger human workers in some cases. IoT devices have different types of sensors that monitor the temperature, vibration, voltage, currents, etc. With the help of these sensors, workers can get warning signs of any predicted malfunctions. Implements operational intelligence. The future of manufacturing floor will have autonomous machinery take over time-consuming and heavy human labor works. By connecting machines with each other, manufacturers can generate intelligent networks that communicate and coordinate with each other autonomously with little or no human intervention. Smart packaging. For manufacturers, smart packaging offers innovative IoT advantages. It helps customers to communicate with IoT devices and produces data for better product management. Smart packaging may include cooking videos, makeup tutorials, and other demos to demonstrate how to use the product. Asset management. Asset practices are being implemented by an increasing number of manufacturing companies. It is possible to achieve present asset data and make sound decisions using IoT technology coupled with the creation of local web and mobile apps for iOS and Android. Controls the quality. IoT sensors capture cumulative commodity data as well as other collective data from third parties at different stages of the product cycle. This information pertains.
All right. So essentially, those of you who are doing the research in the field of information technology or in the field of operations, for them, I think Internet of Things could be a good area that you can explore, and then you can bridge in the research gap which are existing. Especially most of the concepts or the ideas that I have put in here, they are in nascent stages. So a lot of research could take place. And essentially there is a huge research gap, especially in the Indian context. हो क्या रहा है कि कुछ चीजें इनमें से देखिए, जापान is a leader in manufacturing technology, Germany is a leader in manufacturing technologies. So these economies, they have already adopted and are implementing Internet of the Things and associated artificial intelligence technologies at an advanced level. बट इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अभी भी अपॉर्चुनिटी है हमारे पास कि इसके मैनेजरियल इम्प्लीकेशंस क्या है, ये हम इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में स्टडी करें, और जो हमारी रिसर्च पब्लिकेशंस है या जो हमारा डॉक्टरल रिसर्च वर्क है उसका भी इसे एक पार्ट हम बना सकते हैं. वी कैन ऑलवेज हैव सर्टेन एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ IoT और AI being explored by the doctoral research scholars so that they are again in sync with what industry is doing or what industry is trying to explore in the coming future for itself. अभी मैं अपनी लास्ट ट्रेंड की तरफ बढ़ूंगा और बस 2 मिनट में I will be finishing off. Just 2 minutes. And मुझे बस So I hope I'm still audible to my audience. Okay, I'm going to explore a last trend, and that's blockchain and cryptocurrency. So anyone of you who has heard of something which is called as Bitcoin? Bitcoin तो सबने सुना होगा यार, Bitcoin तो हम सबने सुना ही है, नहीं?
Yes sir.
हाँ, Bitcoin क्या है तो फिर आप थोड़ा बताइए ना ऑडियंस के लिए, rather than me speaking. Yeah.
No, I only know it is a dummy currency.
Right, very good. It's a virtual currency. Currently, it's not a legal tender. Legally, हम उसमें trade नहीं कर सकते हैं. Yes. Reserve Bank of India in between had explored the opportunity of launching a virtual rupee also. Am I right? तो देखिए ये सारी चीजें अभी नेशनल स्टेज में है, तो एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है स्पेशली फिनांस स्टूडेंट्स कि वो बिटकॉइन में नॉट नेसेसरली इन बिटकॉइन बट इन क्रिप्टो करेंसी जो है, क्रिप्टो करेंसी में दे कैन पुट इन देयर रिसर्च. ब्लॉकचेन में भी आप कर सकते हो, बट ब्लॉकचेन इज मोर टेक्निकल. इट इज एसेंशियली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड लेजर ऑन अ पीयर टू पीयर नेटवर्क. नाउ दिस डेफिनेशन इज अ टेक्निकल डेफिनेशन जिसे तोड़ मरोड़ के पेश करने के लिए हमारे पास बहुत ज्यादा समय अभी नहीं है, बट हमें इतना समझना होगा कि देखिए आपके बहुत सारे स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग एल्गोरिदम जो है, काफी लोग इसमें फाइनेंस में कौन-कौन है जो रिसर्च कर रहे हैं यहाँ? एनीबॉडी फ्रॉम फाइनेंस? कैन आई नो द कैंडिडेट्स प्लीज फाइनेंस में? हेलो, एनीवन इन फाइनेंस? All right, no issue. Even if there is nobody who is doing research in finance, देखिए फाइनेंस में एडवांस्ड ट्रेडिंग एल्गोरिदम्स होते हैं, आप सब लोग कनेक्ट करोगे बिकॉज आज के डेट में स्टॉक मार्केट का एक बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग तो सबको है. तो इसमें जो आपके एडवांस्ड एल्गोरिदम्स होते हैं उसके पीछे जो टेक्नोलॉजी होती है वो ब्लॉकचेन होती है. तो भी ब्लॉकचेन कैसे काम करती है, वो एल्गोरिदम को कैसे अफेक्ट करती है, एंड एसेंशियली उसे लेके कैसे ट्रेड किया जाता है. दिस इज एन वेरी वेरी गुड एरिया of exploration or of future research for those candidates who are trying to put in efforts in the finance field. Okay, in a similar manner, cryptocurrency, another area, it's a virtual currency. ठीक है, अभी मैं आपका ज्यादा समय नहीं लूंगा, मैं अपना एक लास्ट वीडियो आपके सामने प्रेजेंट करूंगा. It is in general on business, by the way. It's not essentially on the business trends, but I thought it will be prudent to put in this video in front of the audience today. It is by one of my most idolized business leader, Steve Jobs. So now let us have a look at this particular video by Steve Jobs, and then we would end our discussion. Okay.
To me, marketing is about values. This is a very complicated world. It's a very noisy world. And we're not going to get a chance to get people to remember much about us. No company is. And so we have to be really clear on what we want them to know about us. Now, Apple, fortunately, is one of the half a dozen best brands in the whole world. Right up there with Nike, Disney, Coke, Sony. It is one of the greats, not just in this country, but all around the globe. But even a great brand needs investment and caring if it's going to retain its relevance and vitality. And the Apple brand has clearly suffered from neglect in this area in the last few years. And we need to bring it back. The way to do that is not to talk about speeds and feeds. It's not to talk about MIPS and megahertz. It's not to talk about why we're better than Windows. The dairy industry tried for 20 years to convince you that milk was good for you. It's a lie, but they tried anyway. And the sales were going like this. And then they tried Got Milk, and the sales are going like this. Got Milk doesn't even talk about the product. Matter of fact, it focuses on the absence of the product. But the best example of all, and one of the greatest jobs of marketing that the universe has ever seen is Nike. Remember, Nike sells a commodity. They sell shoes. And yet, when you think of Nike, you feel something different than a shoe company. In their ads, as you know, they don't ever talk about the product. They don't ever tell you about their air soles and why they're better than Reebok's air soles. What does Nike do in their advertising? They honor great athletes and they honor great athletics. That's who they are. That's what they are about. Apple spends a fortune on advertising. You'd never know it. You'd never know it. So when I got here, Apple just fired their agency. We're doing a competition with 23 agencies that, 4 years from now would pick one. And we blew that up, and we hired Shive Day, the ad agency that I was fortunate enough to work with years ago. We created some award-winning work, including the commercial Bug the best ad ever made in 1984 by advertising professionals. And we started working about 8 weeks ago. And the question we asked was, our customers want to know who is Apple and what is it that we stand for? Where do we fit in this world? And what we're about isn't making boxes for people to get their jobs done, although we do that well. We do that better than almost anybody in some cases. But Apple's about something more than that. Apple, at the core, its core value is that we believe that people with passion can change the world for the better. That's what we believe. And we've had the opportunity to work with people like that. We've had an opportunity to work with people like you, with software developers, with customers who have done it in some big and some small ways. And we believe that in this world, people can change it for the better. And that those people that are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that actually do. And so what we're going to do in our first brand marketing campaign in several years is to get back to that core value. A lot of things have changed. The market's a totally different place than it was a decade ago. And Apple's totally.
All right. So I think this is what it was from my side. If there are any questions, they can be put to me now. Hello. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Maybe for a couple of minutes, if there are any questions, maybe we would focus on them for a couple of minutes, or otherwise I will summarize and then we can wind up. Yeah.
नहीं 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 किसी का नहीं, वो गलत इस पे इंफॉर्मेशन मत जाओ, किसी का भी नहीं है.
If anybody wants to ask any question, they can ask.
Otherwise, I will directly summarize and then we would close.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah, madam.
Can you suggest some recent trends in HR field, sir?
HR, as I have already focused on, hybrid workplace is a very, very critical trend. Hybrid workplace. Because a lot of companies, देखिए हो क्या रहा है कि कंपनीज को अपनी कॉस्ट कम करनी है. अगर आप एक रिसर्च करोगे तो जो ऑफिस स्पेस रेंट किया जाता है दुनिया भर में, उसमें भारत के अगर ये 2-3 महानगर आप ले लो, मुंबई, दिल्ली, बैंगलोर, पुणे, रेंटल्स आर वेरी वेरी हाई. So maintaining this kind of an office space churns of lot of revenue. तो जाहिर सी बात है कि कंपनी को अगर अपनी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी बढ़ानी है और अगर ये रेंटल ये थोड़ा कम कर सके, छोटी ऑफिस स्पेसेस ले सके, लेट अस से कि 50% ऑफ द वर्क स्पेस जो है 100 लोगों को मैंने हायर किया, 50 लोगों के लिए मैंने ऑफिस रेंट पे लिया, 50 लोग पहले हफ्ते के 3 दिन आएंगे, 50 लोग बाकी दूसरे 3 दिन आएंगे, तो जाहिर सी बात है कि आई एम सेविंग 50% ऑन माई रेंटल्स ना. तो जो हाइब्रिड वर्क प्लेसेस है ना, दीज आर कैचिंग अप fast. इसमें आप अपना रिसर्च कर सकती हो, as far as I understand, because this is a recent trend that has come up. All right. So I would, Suzia madam, can I now go on and summarize quickly for the help of my audience? I would take a couple of minutes because I think that can help. Yeah. So essentially what my audience needs to remember is big data. It's a data which is in terabytes. Now, again, in big data environment, what does the velocity refer to? Because this has come in our videos, but people may not have paid attention to. So data that comes at a very fast speed, velocity of the data will translate into amount of the time that it takes for the data to be processed, so on and so forth. Then what are the advantages of big data? Cost reduction, time reduction, smarter business decision making. Okay, I'm just summarizing quickly. Which is not a social media platform. I think Google is not. So most of the major social media platforms are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Okay. Then again, what is social media may be used for? So social, maybe for publishing some of the other stuff. So essentially in core, we call it social media marketing only, all these activities. Then advantages of the hybrid workplace. So again, advantages of the hybrid workplace are going to be reduction in cost, then increasing productivity, so on and so forth. Then disadvantage of hybrid workplace will be there will be some cyber risk, because I mean the network that is used, office network which is going to be used from home, so it may compromise cyber security. Virtual organizations are also termed as hybrid organizations. I am summarizing because that can help you in terms of maybe the quiz that is going to come your way. Okay, then Sandbox is a very, very critical virtual platform which can be used. You can do some research on this also, Sandbox. Okay, then again, some of the AI tools, predictive marketing analytics, chatbots, so on and so forth. All this, so this is what it is from my side. So I'm closing. All right, Suzia madam, can I log out?
Sir, we want to propose a vote of thanks.
Yeah.
If you have, I request Tanu ma'am to propose vote of thanks.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Good morning, one and all. Today I feel honored and privileged to have been allowed to extend vote of thanks for today's session. On behalf of GIT PhD Research Center, I would like to extend my warm regards and heartiest congratulations to our eminent speaker, Milind Herode sir, for giving his precious and valuable time to us. As sir has enlightened the topic, trained in general management, HR, marketing, and finance research with various interactive videos and live examples. I'm sure it would helpful to our participant to make a direction. I want to extend my gratitude to convey Dr. Swati Dhate ma'am, Head Research Center, GIT, for her continuous support in organizing the program. I would like to thank to all participants of PPSG coursework for being with us today. I feel proud and thank you for making today's session a wonderful session. Now I request to all participants to turn on camera for common pic. Kindly turn on camera.
Participants, kindly turn on your camera. Thank you. Thank you.
So, all right. Thank you, everyone. And now I am logging off. Thanks a lot for
Thank you, sir.
patiently. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.